With me is a person who needs no introduction to the world of tax. He's been introduced here at the IFA Mauritius conference earlier this morning as the most influential person in the world of tax. That was no exaggeration. Pascal, 3 years back when we did the interview at Copenhagen, the first interview on BEPS, the project was just announced and people were just still feeling around, not sure, skeptical. People said this won't happen, too difficult to get 20 countries on board. And now you have 97 countries signing up for the inclusive framework. And we are just, how many days? We are barely 19 days away from signing the multilateral instrument, a potentially historic event that awaits us in Paris. Pascal, you want to talk about that? Does it appear like a dream come true, or is it too good to be true for you?
I don't know whether it's a dream or a nightmare for a number of people, but actually it has come true, and I think this is good that countries can get together through a top-down approach with political support, agree on a sense of direction, which I think makes sense, which is about realigning the location of the profits with the location of the activities. We had an agreement on the BEPS package, 44 countries, 90% of the world economy, and many countries saying, we want to come, we want to join, we want to be part of this exercise on an equal footing. Thus, this inclusive framework for BEPS implementation, today 97 countries on an equal footing. I think Thailand will announce very soon they will be joining, I guess Vietnam too, quite soon. So we have Asia, we have Latin America, we have Europe, we have the Americas. So we're building a family. As regards the MLI, that's pretty big. Nobody thought it would happen. It will happen. I think we will probably have around 70 countries, 70 countries signing on the 7th of June, covering, I hope, around 1,500 tax treaties. It's a complex exercise, but it is happening.
That's massive.
I'm so demanding that I'm never happy. I wish we had 100 countries, that's the number of countries which negotiated the exercise, and there are 3,500 bilateral treaties. But what matters is that all the treaties which are abused because there is a treaty shopping hub in the loop are fixed. And what I'm pretty proud of is that I think all the tax treaty shopping hubs, including Mauritius, will sign the MLI and will designate, nominate all their treaty partners to put an end to treaty shopping. That's a massive change.
India is going to be one of the signatories. In fact, just 48 hours ago, not even 48 hours ago, 48 hours ago, in fact, I'm losing sight of the jet lag and the time difference. But yeah, 2 days back, the Indian government actually agreed, the Union Cabinet approved the signing of the MLI. India is now going to come up with its list of reservations and so on and so forth. Can you explain to a lot of the tax professionals out there, how is this reservations list going to work? Do countries, I'm asking this question again, I asked you this question in December in Mumbai, but can countries cherry pick?
The answer is yes. This multilateral instrument is about putting into bilateral treaties the tax treaty related BEPS measures. There are stuff on hybrid mismatches, you have provisions on the permanent establishment, you have provision on mutual agreement procedures, but most importantly, you have Action 6, which is the end of treaty shopping. Countries can reserve, can opt in, can opt out on all the provisions. But what matters is that Action 6 being a minimum standard, all countries will be reviewed on their compliance with the minimum standard. And the MLI is their unique opportunity to be compliant with the minimum standard. So we expect here that they will not cherry pick. And actually, they cannot reserve. They can just carve out one treaty if it already is in line with the standard. So the core of this MLI convention is about the treaty shopping anti-abuse provision. That you cannot reserve on unless you consider your treaties are fine. We very much welcome India. India is interested in having this bilateral relationship with many countries. I suppose Mauritius may be part of the list, and this is going to happen.
A few things that you talked in your keynote address today at the conference. You said that things are not as yet fully stabilized on the permanent establishment front, that you would have liked more work to be done there. Can you expand that?
Action 7 in the BEPS action plan dealt with a new definition of the permanent establishment to put an end to the commissioner arrangement, to put an end to the fragmentation, a couple of things. And countries said that's what we need to do. We would have expected all countries to include the changes to Article 5 in their provisions on the MLI. What we see is that it's not all countries. There is a significant number of countries, but not the major European countries, and we think it's a bit of a pity, but things are not finished. What is interesting with the MLI is that once you've signed and ratified it, you can always add provisions, which may need to go back to Parliament or not, but it's a pretty flexible
But what is the
and fast
reservation?
instrument.
Why are some countries not signing on to the PE?
I think on the PE you have a couple of issues. One, the fact that the US is not going to be a signatory. And it's not a problem for the treaty abuse, because the US has a very robust treaty network. So the US is not exposed to treaty shopping. So having the US or not in the MLI doesn't make any difference there. But the US not being part of the exercise, I